where would you recommend you start in terms of building those strong stakeholder relationships to make sure that you have alignment throughout all the stakeholder functions tightly aligned to the business goals?
You have to start internally with your stakeholders. And maybe this is not directly on topic, but for me it's important when we are talking about marketing strategy. Strategy is a word that is super overused because it gets changed every year. Then it's not a strategy, then it's tactics. And to be bold enough to agree with your internal stakeholders, these are the topics, these are the themes that we want to be known, and have the breadth to carry this over even a year and longer if needed. I actually want our customers to basically tell us, did you know that you've got the expertise here and there? And if they start talking, then I say, okay, we've achieved that positioning target, that inbound marketing goal that was agreed. Because what you usually find in the financial service industry and others is that there are new topics coming to the fore, and then people say, oh, we have to do something of blockchain. And as a marketeer, you have to say, well, if we have something, fine. If not, stay away from it. ESG is the next topic. Suddenly everybody goes environmental. We had already a wave. And hopefully it's ingrained in many companies. Then you can just continue the conversation that has been augmented by events this year. But if you start jumping on a topic, just because sales tells you, it can be catastrophic. So stakeholder management is super important and focus.
I was going to say, you make some big bets in those as well. So for example, we have a lot of our key marketing messages in our induction material. From day one when people come through the door, they know what those messages are, they know what the key campaigns are, so that when someone asks them, if you're in delivery, you still know what the key campaigns are, so that everybody is on the same page straight away.
That's good.
I was going to be a bit contrary to your viewpoint there, Christoph. Yes, I think I don't disagree at all that you need to be true to your brand or what you actually sell or what you do. I think there is a balance to be had, though, when there are new topics coming into the financial services industry or what have you, that it's important to give your customers or your stakeholders reassurance that you do have an understanding of some of those hot topics. So you mentioned blockchain. If Deutsche Bank doesn't have an opinion on blockchain, your customers start wondering, are you not keeping up with the pace of the industry? Do you not have a viewpoint? So I think from an inbound activity, depending where you're trying to instigate action as part of the funnel, I think it's worth considering where you need to have an opinion, even if you don't deliver, and your messaging needs to stand true to that. I think it's somewhat remiss sometimes to leave I think this.
But Oliver, you make and it's good that you actually emphasize that point, because it's important to challenge that view all the time. There's a complete difference between I have a view and basically say, this is my position, as opposed to the allure to say, and I want to be a thought leader on it. And that's why you see in various industries a lot of so-called white papers where the word "ization" is used because it sounds grand, but it's fluff. So stay away from that. You can have an article that says the position of Deutsche Bank on this topic is this. That's absolutely fine. But if you write a white paper, you better have more than just an opinion.
I actually think this is where marketing is getting bolder and where you look at the complete ecosystem. So if I look at my clients, there's absolutely no way that I can provide them with everything that they need. I can't give them every single data point. So, we've taken a bold step, and I see other companies doing it as well, to say, well, who else is out there in the ecosystem that can? Because surely my job is to give a balanced view to the customer so that then they can make their own minds up about what they're buying. So we now, we have networks with a lot of different partners, but also some competitors as well, where we'll bring in their thoughts and we use them as subject matter experts, and we'll provide that information to the customers.
So something else that struck me as part of this conversation as well, and it goes back to, on the one hand, the kind of being able to tell a good story, have that as a consistent story and all the rest of it. One of the ingredients in here, of course, is not all individual salespeople are created equal. Mm-hmm. You have great ones and you have ones that are not so great. And I think what we've all been guilty of is probably spraying way too much content out there for our own salespeople to use, and then we rely on them to pick out the best content that they think will work best for their customers. And one of the opportunities around having something that's very integrated and well thought through, but also very insight driven, right? Because you're going to get a lot of insights through inbound marketing around what are people really looking for, what are they really consuming, what are they really downloading, what are they really reading. and use that as the kind of critical content that you want to make sure your sellers are using, so that the best seller and the average seller are actually both able to go out there and use the best content in front of their customers, which is in support of your total communication strategy. And it's, if I think about some of the things that we've done, we've almost done the kind of Amazon-esque rating of content, but it's not our own rating. It's what customers are saying is the best stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff that would be most valuable to you, and make that very easy for salespeople to consume.
Yeah.
So, within the context of their opportunity, here's the best information that's available to you based on what customers are really interested in
and I
relative
think
to
that backs up your earlier point as well, because like everyone, I get people coming to me saying, I've got to write a blog on this topic, and you have to take a step back and look at the data and think, well, when we wrote a blog on that, we maybe got 10 people and they weren't who we're after. However, when we wrote a blog on that, we got 100,000 and the vast majority were who we're after. And then you have to manage the people internally accordingly and sort of let them see the data so they can see for themselves. We're not just being awkward. There is actually a reason behind this.
I also think on a more mercenary level, I suppose what we see with some clients is the tendency to create content after content after content, which obviously costs money as well. And I think the B2C rule has always been 60-40 brand, and actually we tend to see in a lot of B2B clients more like 80-20 towards demand, unfortunately, in that space, and with a lot of it with content creation being behind that spend. And I think the simplicity of your message and the content you create not only benefits your internal salespeople, as you said, but actually just means that you can focus more outbound and inbound spend on a single message that you own and you can be authentic about and powerful in, and allows you to focus that towards more of ideally a 50-50 split between brand and demand there. And I think not just confusing your own people, but actually just how you get that message out there.